Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this snowflake. And for this snowflake all you need is some yarn. Obviously we're going to be using a DK light worsted weight yarn, but you can use any yarn you like. And I've chosen quite a sparkly silvery colour yarn this time. I'm going to need a crochet hook that's suitable for the yarn you're using, and I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook. And you're also going to need some scissors and a yarn needle. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work 12 double crochet into a magic circle, and this is in US terminology. If you don't like using the magic circle, what you can do is actually chain 6, slip stitch into your first chain to form a loop, and then work 12 double crochet into that loop if you prefer. But we're going to be working 12 double crochet into a magic circle, so I'm just going to create my little dummy stitch. Now I've done a video in more detail on the magic circle which explains why I do a dummy stitch, so I'll put a link in the description to that video so you can go check it out if you want to. So I'm going to do a yarn over first because we're going to work double crochets, and go for our loop, grab our yarn, then work our double crochet as normal. So we're going to do 12 of those, and like I said, you can chain 6 and then slip stitch into your chain 1 to form a loop, and then work 12 double crochet into that loop if you prefer. 11 and the last one, 12, and then we pull our tail end to tighten our hole, and then we just slip stitch into our first double crochet to form a loop. So just make sure we got 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 and 12. And because we did our dummy stitch, it makes seeing that first stitch really easy, which my video explains. But we just slip stitch into our first double crochet to form a loop. And what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. We do yarn over, and then coming all the way back down to the base, we go into the next stitch and then just work a double crochet. Like that. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to chain 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to do another double crochet in the next stitch. And we're just going to repeat the same thing. We're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 again. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And a double crochet in the next stitch. Like that. And then we're going to do chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 again. Then we chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again we do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And in the next stitch as well. and then we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to finish up with 1 double crochet in the last stitch. And my fridge has decided to make strange noises. Sorry about that. And because we chained 8 at the beginning, and we've been doing chain 5 in all the other ones, the chain 8 equals 5 chains like the others, and then the other 3 at the beginning become a double crochet. So all we do now is we slip stitch, because we've got 2 double crochet like this around with 5 chains in between. Here we just do the 1 double crochet, then those 3 chains count as a double crochet. So we just slip stitch in our 3rd chain of our 8. So there's our 1st, there's our 2nd, and then there's our 3rd. So it's going to slip stitch into there to join. To just join the round. So now we should have 2 double crochets equally spaced out like that with 5 chains in between them. So it looks like that. And now we move on to the next round. Okay, so for the next round, round 3, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 8 again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work 3 double crochet in the next 5 chain space. So this 5 chains here, which were part of our 8 chains, into that space below there, we're going to work 3 double crochets. So we want to go straight into there and work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it looks a bit like that. And then what you want to do is we want to work 3 double crochet into the next 5 chain space. So the next one along, we're going to work 3 double crochet as well. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but we're also going to work 5 chain. We're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to work another 3 double crochet into the same 5 chain space. So in this 5 chain space along here, we end up working 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet. So we go back into that same 5 chain space and work another 3 double crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so should look a little something like that with the 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet. But this first one here, we just chain that 8 and then just work our 3 double crochet, because we end up working the other stitches at the end. So we'll leave that for now. But we just repeat this round. So in the next 5 chain space, we do the same again. We do 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet in this next space. So that's, start with 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and again we just chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we do the 3 double crochet into the same space. So that's 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. So we just repeated the same stitches as we did in the last one. So we've got 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet. We're going to repeat that into the next chain spaces along as well. So we just go straight into the next one and do another 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet. So that's 1. So we just repeated that for all our chain spaces, just doing 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet into each one. But this very first one where we just did the chain 8 and the 3 double crochet, what we're actually going to do is into this chain space where we just did so you got the chain 8 and the 3 double crochet at the beginning. Into this space again, we're going to do 2 double crochet. So we go into that first chain space and do 1, just to move them over a little bit, and 2. And that's because the only reason we do 2 is because our third one is the first 3 chains of our 8. So it all ends up being equal then, having 3 double crochet, 5 chain, 3 double crochet. Here we have the 2 double crochet, and then the first 3 chains become a double crochet, which leaves us with 5 chains and then our 3 double crochet. So all we do is we slip stitch into our third chain of our 8. So there's 1, 2 and 3. So we put our hook in that third chain of our 8 and do a slip stitch. Okay, and then that evens it up. So we end up with technically 3 double crochets. I mean, it's technically 2 double crochets and 3 chains, but it becomes 3 double crochets. And that completes that round. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 3. Now this is the round that makes our fancy edges, or spikes of our snowflake. So what we do is we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, like so, into our 5 chain space below. So we do yarn over, and we're going to do a 1 double crochet into that 5 chain space there. So our 3 chain counts as a double crochet, so we've got technically 2 double crochet now at the beginning, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work 2 double crochet into this 5 chain space again. So come back down to this 5 chain space below and do 2 double crochet. So that's 1 and 2. I'm going to be working quite a bit into this 5 chain space, so it's probably good to push your work over to the right hand side as much as you can. So what we've done so far for round 4 is we've chained 3, worked 1 double crochet into this 5 chain space, then we chained 3 again, and then we did 2 double crochet into our 5 chain space. That's going to be pushed over to the right hand side a bit. Now we're going to start on the spike, and we're going to chain 8 now. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's get a bit more yarn. And then we're going to slip stitch into our 5th chain of our 8. So we need to count up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in our 5th one of our 8 chains, we're going to put our hook through. We're going to work a slip stitch, like so. So it sort of curls the end over, as it were. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to work 2 double crochet. So we do yarn over, back into our 5 chain space on our main snowflake part. So we go all the way back down to our 5 chain space and work 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. You may want to bunch that over again to the right hand side, and then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we also work another 2 double crochet into this 5 chain space, same one again. So there's a lot of stitches being worked into this 5 chain space. So it's 2 double crochet. And that completes our first star point. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So what we've done is we've chained 3, then we worked 1 double crochet into our 5 chain space. We chained 3 again, then we did 2 double crochet into our 5 chain space. Then we chained 5 and we chained 8, sorry, and we slip stitched into our 5th chain of our 8. So we created a little loop at the end. Then we chained 5 again, which brought us back down to our 5 chain space, and we finished with 2 double crochet, 3 chain, 2 double crochet to match the other side. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is we're just going to chain 2, 1, 2, then we're going to slip stitch in the center of these 6 double crochets. So in the center stitch there, we're just going to put our hook and we're going to work a slip stitch like so. Then we're going to chain 2 again, 1, 2, and now we're ready to start in our next 5 chain space. Okay, so we just chain 2, slip stitch in the center of these stitches, these 6 double crochets, chain 2, and now we're ready to start our next snowflake point. And to do that, we're going to do 2 double crochet in our next 5 chain space. So that's 1 and 2. Always shifting it over to the right hand side because we've got to work a lot of stitches. Then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we do another 2 double crochet in our 5 chain space. 1 and 2. So it's very similar, exactly the same as this one here, except we're doing 2 double crochet to start because we did a chain 3 to start there. So we'll just move those stitches over, and now we do exactly the same. We chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then we slip stitch into our 5th chain of our 8. So we find our 5th chain. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put our hook through there and just work a slip stitch, which creates a little loop at the end. Then we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings us back down to our 5 chain space again. And we're going to do yarn over and do 2 double crochet in this 5 chain space again. It's 1. A bit fiddly that when you've chained and you've got to work a double crochet. And 2. And to make sure it mirrors the other side, we just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another 2 double crochet in the same 5 chain space. 1 and 2. Okay, so that's our second snowflake point created. Just doing exactly the same stitches as we did. So I'll show you the next one as well. So we make sure we chain 2 now, 1, 2, because we need to work over to the next one. Then we slip stitch in the center of those 6 double crochets. Let's do a little slip stitch there. Chain 2, 1, 2. Then we're ready to start in our next 5 chain space. So I'll show you once more. We do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Always moving our stitches over. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then 2 double crochet, 1, 2. Then we chained 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we slip stitched into our 5th chain of our 8. So we find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 5th chain up, put our hook in and we work a little slip stitch to create a little loop at the end with our 8 chains, and then we chain 5 to bring us back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we do finish up with 2 double crochet back into our 5 chain space. So that's doesn't always go perfectly. It's always hard when you've chained to try and do a double crochet. So we yarn over, back into our 5 chain space. There we go. That's 1 double crochet, then another one, and then to make sure it matches the other side, we do chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and finish up with another 2 double crochet. 1 and 2, like so, and that creates our next point. So it's just 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, chain 8, slip stitch in 5th chain to get a little loop, chain 5 to bring us back down, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and you just repeat that in the next 3 points as well, doing exactly the same. So what we're going to do now is we chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2 to get us over to the next side, and we repeat all those same stitches again for that 5 chain space. Chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2 to get you to the next one, and repeat all those stitches again for that one, and the same for this one. And when you've done that one, then I'll come back and show you how to finish off. Okay. Okay, so I've just finished the very last snowflake point in the last 5 chain space. So to finish up, all we do is we chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we slip stitch in the centre of those bottom stitches there to get our work over. 1, 2, and then we chain 2, 1 and 2, and then all we do is you just slip stitch just at the bottom of those 3 chains that you begun the round with. So I'm just going to go into the bottom of those chains and just work a little slip stitch like so, and you can pull your yarn up like so, and there we have our snowflake like that. And what you can do if you want to make sure that your snowflake keeps its shape, so like this one here, you can see this one doesn't curl up at the edges at all, and unfortunately with this one I actually tried to stretch it with metal nails. It actually left a little bit of rust on the corners. So what I recommend, so that doesn't happen to you, what I've used for other ones, is the first thing to do is when you've finished your snowflake, and you can always create a little bit of a loop with the leftover yarn if you want to hang it as well. And what I do is I cover just one side. I usually cover the back rather than the front. I mean, both sides are nice, but you might prefer one side. So the side you least like is I actually cover in PVA glue, and this you can get from most craft store. This is just the stuff they use in schools. I don't know if it's called something different in America. I'm sure somebody told me once what it was, but in the UK we call it PVA glue, but I'm sure you've got something similar in America. It's just the stuff they use in schools. The stuff that dries clear is the stuff that you want. So we're going to paint one side in our PVA glue, and before it dries you need to stretch it and keep it in shape. And what I recommend, if you can get hold of it, is some really thick foam like this. Now this is just packaging foam that usually packages up electronic equipment and stuff like that. So if you can get some thick foams in some way, you might be able to get it from a craft store as well. And what I actually did with mine is then I got some cocktail sticks. I used wooden ones. So rather than using metal, which might rust, I used wooden cocktail sticks. And then I just simply, oh, if I can move the yarn over, is I put my cocktail stick just for the very end of all of our points for the little loop that we created. Just put your cocktail stick through the end of one of your points, and then you can just push that into the foam to keep it in place. You can do that for all the 6 points of your snowflake, and then when it's dry it would have kept its shape and will look a little something like that, but without the little rust corners on the edge. So there we go. And also you can decorate these with glitter when they're still wet with glue. You could always sprinkle over glitter as well to make them sparkly if you haven't got any sparkly yarn. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope it wasn't too difficult to follow along. And this is actually, the written pattern of this can be found on my website as well, happyberry.co.uk, where there is actually another version as well. It starts off the same, the first 3 rounds are the same, but the little points just add a little extra on the end for a different variation of a snowflake. But this is part of my advent calendar on my homepage. If you want to go to happyberry.co.uk, you can check out my advent calendar where you can receive a free knitting or crochet pattern every day until Christmas Eve. And yeah, so that's it, and I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, bye!